Thor is having a busy day.
At a military proving ground, a screaming anti-missile overtakes a speedy drone, but is beaten to its target by the god of thunder and diverted.
He's moonlighting as a reusable anti-missile missile. They're getting all kinds of data from that without having to blow anything up. Thor considers it his mission to help mortals out whenever he can in whatever way he can. Sometimes I think he carries it a little too far.
But Thor, I hope you realize this test is different. It might be more than even you should try. Are you sure your body can stand it?
Am I not the son of Odin?
Yeah, about that. There's something Odin forgot to tell you.
My body possesses the power of your mightiest machines. Let the preparations thus begin.
Personnel withdraw to armored bunkers and watch in awe as mighty Thor calmly awaits the explosion of a cobalt bomb.
The cobalt bomb was a science fiction bugaboo all through the 50s and 60s, even though nobody ever actually built one. The idea is you take a basic hydrogen bomb and you surround the bomb with a shell of cobalt. When cobalt gets irradiated, it produces an isotope that is extremely radioactive and deadly, but has a very short half-life. So you boost the radiation fallout by a massive amount, but within a few years it decays and you can return to the place where the fallout was. That's assuming there's anybody left to care, because the radiation damage in the meantime is staggering. In one of their late 50s or early 60s variety comics, Marvel did a story about some aliens who were sitting just outside our range of detection, evaluating our world for conquest. They discovered that humans had developed an awful weapon, the cobalt bomb. Then they realized all we did with it was threaten each other. So they said, hey, we can just sit back, wait for them to destroy themselves, and we'll move in. Stories like that abounded, and not just in comics. Short stories, novels, films, everybody used this idea at least once. Now, as I said, nobody's ever actually built one, at least not one that worked as advertised. A few countries tried, but nothing like it ever went into production anywhere. I suspect we're all okay with that. Let's see what happens to Thor when one of those things goes off.
Out of nowhere,
An apparition appears.
from out of the strange machine, a figure materializes and
Stop! You hold a sea bomb.
Or not. He just stole it.
Indeed, I know. I tracked it to this century.
No. That weapon must never fall into the wrong hands. My hammer will stop you. It simply vanished.
Listen to his words. He said this century. He's a time traveler, so not only does Thor have to figure out where he went, he has to figure out when he went.
But we do not stand here empty-handed. Observe this scrap of metal, broken off by my hammer.
What does it prove?
It proves his hammer is tougher than that machine. Weren't you listening?
Such a metal could come only from the future. But the grim mystery still remains. What forebodes when the world of tomorrow steals from today?
A conference with Odin should tell him how to follow this guy.
Your thoughts are troubled, my son. Fret not with the future of mortals. Come back to Asgard and the glories of ages without time.
But sire, because I failed to stop a theft, a fearsome bomb awaits in their future. Only the scrap of metal may be a clue to the time.
A clue? It is your passport.
He says, tie it to your hammer and both of you spin faster than light. That will take you to where the piece of metal came from.
Perhaps never to return.
What sayest thou?
Only another fragment belonging to the day of your departure can bring you back. It must be something of value that could exist in no other time.
Gosh, Rudy, I wonder what that could be.
his mind made up, Don Blake returns to the Lonely Peak as Thor.
He has his fragment to go and his fragment to return. I wonder what Jane would think about being called a fragment.
Do my eyes reveal the truth? What indescribable, wondrous world is this?
He stares at the sights of the amazing city and hears the murmuring throngs below. It is the 30th century. A time when all weapons have been abolished.
It only took another 1,000 years, but we finally got there.
But now, a man named Zarko has returned from the past with a fearsome bomb, and with this as his threat, has proclaimed himself their ruler.
That world looks even more confusing to rule than the current one. The thing everybody, including Zarko, forgets is a bomb is a one-use item. If he sets it off somewhere, then he's got nothing and the people can overthrow him. Now, if he wanted a fearsome weapon that's actually reusable, he should have gone for that laser that Lex Luthor set up on the moon in another series.
So, you followed me to my time. Then perish in it, fool!
Research, dude, I'm telling you, it's a good thing. If you don't know who he is or how he was able to follow you or anything else, you did not do your homework before you started this. And it's going to bite you.
Giant robots.
No, not my hammer.
It also took 1,000 years to build a robot that could do that. Keep in mind that according to Marvel's own backstory about Thor, nobody but he can lift the hammer because it's so heavy, and when it leaves its hand, it always comes back to him. Except when the plot says someone or something else can grab it and keep it from him, then that stuff doesn't apply.
Ah, my search is rewarded. A water pipe. Ah, the water reaching their electrical innards will bring yon iron monsters to a standstill and return my hammer just in time.
This is only the 6th episode, but we've already seen that hammer wrestle its way out of some unknown hand and zip back to Thor whether the guy liked it or not. Today, I guess it decided to ask permission first.
He is no ordinary foe. I'd best fly the bomb to my secret outpost. It will be safe from him there.
Halt! The Thunder God commands!
Either he didn't hear you, or he doesn't know what a thunder god is. Show him, Thor.
Thor draws a mighty breath and exhales with hurricane force. The supernatural fury of the gale is awesome to behold. Zarko's ship is battered and swept like a wind-tossed leaf, causing the racked sea bomb to break free. It plummets earthward on its mission of destruction until...
I have it. Now to transport it safely to the ground.
That's what a thunder god is. If they have the technology to travel in time, they should have something even better than the internet for finding information. Too bad Zarko misplaced his library card.
Still out of control, Zarko's ship crash lands. But when the defeated Zarko emerges...
Who am I? What am I doing here?
Well, that's convenient. Thor fastens Jane's picture to his hammer, gathers the bomb, and heads home. Amnesia is a common device in stories like these, and it's been used in countless ways. One of my favorites was in a Mickey Mouse comic. Goofy, in his own unique way, stopped the major criminal from major criminaling, and the guy wound up with amnesia. He said, "Who am I?" Goofy replied, "You're Joe Doe, honest, law-abiding citizen." Joe became a model citizen from then on, and everybody in his neighborhood liked him. I don't foresee things going that smoothly for Zarko.
You have regained your bomb and would never believe my tale. Thus let us mention it no more. Now I must tend to my own heart's desire.
But across the Rainbow Bridge, regal Odin refuses to approve his son's romance with the mortal Jane Foster.
So, situation normal. Thor keeps asking and Odin keeps refusing.
From this instant hence, your powers are reduced until you give up all thought of love for an earthling.
Reduced, sire?
By half.
Make him less able to do his work on Earth or in Asgard. That'll show him. Just brilliant, Odin.
I may never again have such a golden opportunity to destroy my enemy forever. Now, possessing only half his strength, he'll be an easy victim for that erstwhile tyrant Zarko.
If Odin didn't see that coming, he may need more sleep. I think he's still a bit groggy. In the comics, Loki's mission in life was to kill Thor. Mainly he was jealous. Odin is constantly talking with Thor, giving him things to do, arguing with him about Jane, while Loki is the ignored, screwed up other kid. Part of the reason he pulled a lot of his pranks was to get Dad's attention. He's just like a human kid. Even negative attention is attention, and he'll take it. Meanwhile, Odin stands around scratching his beard and wondering where he went wrong. But the first one that answers him gets exiled to the realm of the ice giants.
Hear me, mortal. My magic herewith returns your memory.
That's the problem with amnesia. There's always some troublemaker in a goofy hat reversing it.
I am Zarko.
It was Thor who beat you. Thor who turned a brilliant scientist into a menial flunky.
Yes. I have a debt to settle with Thor.
I guess they didn't put him in any kind of jail or other confinement. They just gave him a new job and ignored him from there.
It's a gigantic robot, accompanied by a man.
I am the man from tomorrow. Bring me Thor.
I admit I was half expecting the word Klaatu somewhere in his speech. It appears that we do have a little dignity. The robot goes on a destructive rampage with impossible strength, disintegrator beams in its eyes, and Zarko cheering it on. With only half his power, Thor knows this is iffy, but he has to give it his best shot.
But just half of Thor's indescribable power is not enough.
Deprived of my full power, I am no match for him.
I'd suggest he call the Avengers, but he forgot to bring change for the payphone.
You see? Your champion cannot protect you, but I promise no further harm to this century if Thor returns with me to the far future.
Yeah, sure, he'll get right on that. But in the meantime, here's a question. This is Jane Foster, Don Blake's nurse and Thor's love interest. But who is this and why do we care? I know, it's supposed to be Jane. She's so upset her hair rearranged itself and she grew a new face.
As my obedient slave.
The son of Odin is no man's slave.
But see, noble father, he's made his choice. Thor has given his word.
And I must not intervene. If he is ever to learn the lesson I have invoked.
The lesson you refer to was give up thoughts of marrying a mortal. What does any of this have to do with that?
In the automated land, for the first time in decades, things begin to go amiss. As if by evil magic or by a mighty hammer smashing at Central Control Depot.
Zarko appears with Thor following him. He says Thor did all this at my command. I'm taking over, and anybody who doesn't like it can take it up with him.
What is it you want?
Power. I must know where the master machine is hidden. The supreme machine, which gives orders to the council itself. They dare not refuse me now.
I beg you, do not force me to use my power.
I give you exactly 1 hour for your decision.
If you don't know that Thor has a plan in all this, you don't know him very well.
Thor and Zarko are caught by an octopus-like robot.
After the 4th sound effect, Thor realized that calling Batman and Robin for help was a mistake. With only half strength, he can't break free. And then it starts spewing some kind of green gas that most likely isn't good for one's health.
If I can just force this bit back and return the expanding vapors to the plastic sack, it can only stretch so far and...
Zarko, we are no match for Thor's inhuman strength. Here is the location of the master robot, which now controls the planet.
It's not exactly Skynet, mainly because it's not evil or out to destroy humanity. But having one single computer or robot or whatever that controls all the systems on the planet seems like a bad idea. At the very least, I hope it's not running Windows.
The master machine is hidden within. Smash it open, Thor.
On one condition. If this service will release me from my vow.
Yes, yes, when I stand before the machine.
He does realize that that means Thor is free to grab him and pummel the stuffing out of him, yes? The world leader wannabe isn't very good at thinking things through. Some kind of defense robot comes out, but Thor makes short work of it. Zarko has what he wanted.
With this before me, I become master of all mankind.
I have given you mastery of the 30th century. And so, evil one, I am free of my vow.
Yes, but now I command miracle machines.
Thor almost felt that, but Zarko isn't keeping score. He's drunk with power.
Thunder God, halt! You dare not attack me! By pulling one lever, I can destroy half of this entire planet.
Zarko, be not a fool.
Nay, it must not come to pass. My son, thy full powers are returned. Let not the future die.
Oh, I see now. Odin couldn't care less about mortals in the 20th century, but this is the 30th century. That's different.
Zarko, hear the words of Thor. Behold what your folly will bring. Fires of torment, followed by a world where you will rule in loneliness and terror.
No, oh no.
I think he wants his amnesia back. We won't find out what happens to him from here, but it doesn't matter. Thor saved the future.
Thank you, Thor. Your note convinced us that we should leave Zarko to you.
I had to let you know I was not your enemy.
It was a very attractive-looking note.
It was all I had. My passport back to the 20th century and to my heart's desire.
Which means he still hasn't learned the lesson that Odin was trying to teach him, so that punishment was pointless and almost counterproductive. Odin needs to figure out that harsh doesn't work with this kid and try something else. Save the harsh for the other kid.
With Thor's return to the time and form of Don Blake, his first words to Jane Foster are,
I'm glad I had your picture with me, Jane, on my business trip. There's such truth to that old saying, one picture is worth 1,000 years.
Close enough, though I wonder how confused she is after that. He mooned over her for several years, but at some point he got over her and turned his affections to a goddess named Sif, who was supposed to be the most beautiful goddess in all Asgard. I frankly thought she was homely, but that's a matter for another time. His love for Jane caused no end of conflict with Odin and was often the basis of a story like it is here. There came a time when Odin finally said yes, but Jane would have to become an immortal and live in Asgard. Dr. Blake told her his secret, okay, both secrets, he's Thor and he's in love with her. She agreed to the terms and he took her to Asgard. Odin gave her immortality, a new Asgardian outfit, and the ability to fly. But it was all too much at once and she couldn't handle it. She had a nervous breakdown. Thor finally saw the folly of trying to pursue this. Odin restored her humanity, wiped her memory, and sent her home. But I have a message for Odin. If you're still looking for somebody to give the ability to fly to, I'll take it off your hands. How much you want for it?
Cross the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the booming heavens roar. You'll behold in breathless wonder the god of thunder, mighty Thor.
Radioactive. Job and slow down. That control. Where are you going?